Now let's move on to the three-step shuffle, and we're going to start with some Illinois clips here, Chris. So three-step shuffle is different from the three-step crossover, and you can break it down for us.
Sure. Well, three-step shuffle is happens in a couple ways. One, if an offense is running super fast, and sometimes you don't have enough time to make a three-step crossover. I know we're going to cover the X2 here as well. That's another way of doing it. Other times we're taking some dedicates, which I also know we're going to talk about. And sometimes you're just trying to get your hands up and over the net. So you'll see there that last play, we're facing against Dana Recchi on the other side. She's pretty dangerous. So our middle is a little bit with her, and she happens to get just a slight misstep, but she's still able to recover with the quick three and just kind of shuffle over the net. So it's not as dynamic as your crossover, but it's still effective to get over there, take away space with your feet, and then obviously take away space with your hands. And she still gets a very nice move. Again, not as ideal as a three-step crossover, in my opinion, but she's still able to get mid-forearm over the net and take away this outside hitter shot.
So you have, when we're looking at your middle here, there's where are her feet in relation to each other? Is one behind the next? Are they crossing just, ever so slightly, but without her body crossing?
In this one, yeah, it looks like ever so slightly. She's maybe not that full turn that Keegan talked about, not full turn, but the turn to the post, open your hips. It's just, hey, I'm really trying to shuffle and get over there. And there's not always time to make that turn. And so here's a little bit shorter of an example. We're trying to cover the gap on a full read, which again, it's tough to do. So middles are probably going to use this move a lot more than your pins will. From time to time, your pins will use it as well, depending if they're facing a fast slide or a fast go. And it's really, again, there's no little things. We're going to teach everyone all the moves, and then they're going to get to decipher. They could have some freedom to decipher what's best in their scenario. And if we see too many bad moves, then we'll address it in films and we'll try to point that stuff out. But for sure, important that they know this quick three footwork as well.
Yep, good. Then I think we got one from the University of Washington here. Keegan, how do you train the quick three in terms of when to use it?
Yeah, this is not my favorite time to use it, I'd say, but sometimes things happen. I would just say the situations where we use it most often are overload situations. So a gap go is a very common overload situation, a tight quick with a red. When you have a responsibility to defend two different blockers, at some sort of tempo, you don't really have an opportunity to turn and make a three-step crossover. So that's where it shows up the most for us, is in those situations. Chris also brought up when you have slide attackers that attack at multiple points behind the setter, it can often make sense to have a toolbox of kind of what I would call static moves, where you're not swinging because you're not sure where they're going to arrive behind the setter. So those two scenarios to me are the most common overloads. And then when you got to deal with somebody attacking at multiple points is when you're going to see that move show up for us, if we're doing it right.